For most of human history, every day began with the same question. How will I survive today? Food, shelter, security. For thousands of years, survival shaped the structure of civilization. But imagine waking up in a world where that question no longer dominates your life. Every month, a payment arrives in your account. Not charity, not welfare, but a citizen dividend. Your apartment is modest, but comfortable. Healthcare is always available. Education never truly ends. For the first time in history, living itself is guaranteed. But if survival is no longer the central problem of life, what happens next? The reason this world exists is simple. Machines. Factories run mostly by robots. Logistics managed by autonomous systems. Artificial intelligence writing software, designing products, coordinating global supply chains. Machines do not sleep. They do not take vacations. And unlike humans, they scale almost infinitely. As automation spreads across industries, productivity begins to rise at a speed never seen before. For centuries, economic growth depended on human labor. But now, a growing share of the world's production is created by machines. And this creates a new question. If machines generate most of the wealth, who should receive it? In the early days of automation, most of the benefits flowed to companies and investors. But some societies began experimenting with a different idea. What if part of the automated economy was treated as a shared asset? Instead of concentrating all automation profits in private hands, portions of these systems became publicly owned. Robotic logistics networks, energy infrastructure, AI platforms. Their profits flowed into public funds, and from those funds, back to citizens. Not as charity, but as a dividend from the machines that power the economy. A new economic structure began to emerge. Machines worked, and citizens received a share of the value they created. But this society did not treat citizens as passive recipients. Participation still mattered. Every member of society contributed in different ways. Some developed new technologies. Some created art, culture, and media. Some mentored younger generations. Others worked on environmental restoration or community projects. Education itself changed. Students were no longer judged only by exams. Instead, they built real things. Software, research, design, solutions to real social problems. Through contribution and participation, citizens gained access to the shared economic system, and with it, the right to receive the dividend. When survival is guaranteed, something unexpected happens. People do not stop working, but the reason they work begins to change. For many, life becomes quieter. More time for family, for music, for learning, for travel. But others choose a different path. They start new businesses, explore new scientific ideas, search for new sources of energy, or attempt projects that once seemed too risky. Work no longer determines whether you survive. Instead, it becomes a way to shape who you are. Even small businesses continue to exist. Restaurants, cafes, hair salons, music venues. But many are no longer driven purely by survival. Some are passion projects. Small bookstores, art studios, neighborhood cafes. Places where people gather not because they must, but because they want to. The economy shifts away from survival goods and toward experience. Food, travel, culture, community. Human creativity becomes one of the most valuable resources in society. Wealth does not disappear in this future, but its meaning changes. For most of history, wealth meant security, owning land, owning factories, owning capital. But when survival is guaranteed, wealth begins to represent something else. Influence, creativity, knowledge, experience. People still compete, but the competition is no longer only about money. It is about ideas, discovery, and the ability to shape the world. Of course, power still exists. Technology becomes one form of influence. Those who design powerful AI systems or new scientific breakthroughs can reshape society. Data becomes another. The information that trains machines and guides decisions becomes a critical resource. And influence itself becomes a kind of wealth. Writers, scientists, thinkers, and creators shape how millions of people understand the world. The future is not free from power. But power takes on new forms. Even with all these changes, one truth remains. Human beings are not machines. We do not simply seek comfort. We seek meaning, purpose, recognition, and connection. When survival is no longer the central challenge of life, a deeper question begins to emerge. Not, how do we survive? But, what kind of life do we want to live? For most of human history, survival defined civilization. But in a world where survival is guaranteed, humanity faces a new frontier. Not a frontier of land or resources, but a frontier of purpose. And the future of civilization may ultimately depend on how we choose to explore it.